Twisting your balls will not shift them into second gear. You will get testicular torsion.
The time has come to rise up against Big Brother! Who's with me?
The Times says the project aims to reframe American history.
It is an examination of the United States' origin story, a corrective history. It is designed to kickstart conversations, thus that hashtag I just mentioned, 1619 Project Brunch. Now to some major news out of the NFL. A source telling ESPN that Washington's NFL team retiring its controversial nickname.
The Aunt Jemima brand is getting erased. The name and logo are being dropped from all products, including the iconic pancake mix and maple syrup. Within hours of the Aunt Jemima announcement came word that Uncle Ben's rice would get a new brand identity too.
New tonight, the Phoenix City Council voted to change the name of streets that they find offensive.
Barnes & Noble facing backlash over its diverse editions of classic novels. Some to mention, like Peter Pan, The Secret Garden, are being displayed with new covers. The characters on the books are being reimagined as different ethnicities. This announcement
Twitter dropping the programming terms master, slave, and blacklist from its code. Master and slave are going to become leader and follower, while blacklist will become deny list.
Watch this.
I have never discriminated on the basis of sexual preference.
Your sexual preference is an offensive and outdated term.
So Merriam-Webster, the dictionary, here's the old definition versus the new definition of sexual preference. Before it said orientation, sense, sexual preference. And now, after that exchange between the two of them on Tuesday, now it says offensive, sense, sexual preference. What's your response?
You stupid dinosaur! Get the out of here! I'm sorry, you guys.
That is a child attacking her mother and father for the crime of insufficient loyalty to Black Lives Matter. Here's a 15-year-old from Louisiana called Isabella. There are many like her in America right now.
I literally hate my family so much. It's just, they just try to argue with me that George Floyd they're just trying to tell me that, like, he deserved that because he did something wrong, and that it was okay. That is not okay. And it's just making me so upset. I don't know why. I do not want to live here. I hate living in Louisiana. I hate living around these racist. I just want to leave.
Accomplishment.
Think Trump is worse than Hitler?
Yes.
Yeah,
could be.
definitely.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
He's childish.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
He's trying to stop, like food stamps. People need those.
Do you think that ending food stamps is as bad as killing like 6 million Jews?
He did that?
Yeah. He killed
That's why he's
Jews.
number
He's
2.
trying to just destroy the planet.
And built that wall, yeah.
They did a Harvard study and actually a judicial system study as well, and they found that there was no racial bias when it came to police shootings last year. When you guys hear that, what does that make you think?
Cap.
That's it.
Cap.
They did a study that showed that cops are actually 18 times more likely to be killed than an unarmed black man is to be killed by the police.
I doubt it.
Cap.
Yeah, that is cap.
Let's do it. Do you think the gender wage gap is real?
I do.
How do you stop the gender wage gap?
That's a great question. I think we have to take a look at our government and our understanding of capitalism and consumerism and kind of start working there and work backwards.
If you had like a business, you know what I mean, and they could pay women 77 cents for every dollar that a man would make, that would be like capitalism. So they would hire all women.
I suppose in a sense I'm following what you're saying, but
You can protest all you want, but the I just saw take place. I know there are people out here, homeless people, who rely on those banks to charge their phone. And you think it's okay to take down a neighborhood? You don't see corporations here. There are human beings that live in this neighborhood. You do this in Harlem, you do this in Brooklyn, and I swear on everything. These people in this neighborhood deserve better. And I'm not talking about the gentrification. I'm not talking about students who come here and pay cash to go to NYU. I am talking about the people who go to a methadone clinic down the street. And you think this is a protest?
But in today's culture, just a simple social media post from years ago can prevent you from getting a job. Is that fair?
Tonight, Denver 7's Russell Haythorne goes 360 on the rise of what's being referred to as cancel culture.
You may have never heard the term cancel culture.
It's somewhat of a boycott of a person who has done something that other people find objectionable.
It can also be someone just like you and me.
Putting something out there that can probably offend somebody.
So I often caution people, especially young people, students, about what they place on social media because that is their professional image and picture forever.
Cancel culture is a form of boycott or public shaming of a person who has shared a questionable or unpopular opinion.
From becoming the most talked about social media app in just a matter of days,
the social media platform Parler,
to now inaccessible. Parler, which dubs itself as an alternative social network for conservative voices, was booted from the app stores on both Google and Apple in wake of the siege on the Capitol. The final blow came Monday when Amazon dropped Parler from its web hosting services, essentially pulling the plug on the 2-year-old venture. Critics were quick to pounce, claiming a double standard when it came to big tech and conservative viewpoints.
Let's do it. How many genders are there?
infinite.
Infinite?
I think there are infinite genders. Yeah.
There are like 5, 6 maybe.
6? What are those 6?
It's like male, female, transgender, asexual. Then, yeah, I'm not like familiar with the names, but I'm like pretty sure I have seen like videos and everything on like different genders like here.
How many genders are there?
Oh, girl. It's like 72 plus or something. I could not tell you.
You couldn't tell me?
Could not tell you.
How many can you name?
Not all 72.
One of the most elite schools, colleges, universities in the world, but it has a rather simplistic view of anyone from the Trump administration dare entertaining getting jobs in Harvard, given the fact that the biggest crime they committed was working in the Trump administration. Charlie Gasparino on this.
Side is the sort of tweets that have been coming out from that mob about, oh, we've got to hunt down all the Trump supporters. We've got to.
You're going to have a list.
They've got the list. Exactly. Tell us about that.
They are now talking about AOC and lots of other people. We need to have a list of everybody who enabled Donald Trump, and we're going to have this list, and you won't be able to sit on the company board. You get a job in academia. You know, this will be the shame list. And this shows exactly how authoritarian their instincts really are after claiming.
there are millions of Americans, almost all white, almost all Republicans, who somehow need to be deprogrammed. It's as if they are members of a cult, the Trumpist cult, and who have to be deprogrammed.
There has to be consequences, and then once you get those consequences, I think then people have to take a second look at their actions, and they have to be much more afraid.
I think a lot of people are going to have to be deprogrammed.
What Biden wins, go through all the Republican voters, and Homeland Security will take the children away. How about that? And we'll put them into re-education camps.
Amen.
Moment. Tory Bullock is challenging the city and the mayor to take down this statue near Park Plaza. It's called the Freedmen's Monument. It's a replica of the original in Washington, D.C., with President Lincoln standing over a freed slave. The inscription on its base reads, "A race set free," but interpretations of the artwork varies. More statue controversy comes following this week's vandalism of the Christopher Columbus statue in the city's North End.
Abe Lincoln has overlooked Bascom Hill for more than 100 years. The statue worn from grads climbing up to get a picture. But what he symbolizes for marginalized students isn't land-grant universities or even emancipating slaves.
He was also very publicly anti-black. Just because he was anti-slavery doesn't mean he was pro-black.
A real-life political drama in Tinseltown. Oh, imagine. According to a new report, many Hollywood conservatives, me being one, are not shelling out for Donald Trump, fearing backlash over being outed as Trump supporters. The head of a Hollywood public relations firm telling The Wrap, quote, "If you're climbing that studio ladder or haven't become a big star yet, you're probably not going to be very hesitant to support Trump. These people are afraid because their bosses are very likely Hillary Clinton supporters."
Winston sat at his mundane desk. His job at the Ministry of Truth, mini-true in newspeak, was to rewrite history for the advantage of the government. Big Brother was the leader of the political party, and as the signs all read, he was watching you through surveillance cameras everywhere. So anyone, such as Winston, who had independent thoughts and dreams, had to keep them to themselves or risk discovery by the thought police. Nothing is your own except the few cubic centimeters inside your skull. While walking down the boring hallway one morning, the object of some of Winston's impure thoughts and dreams, Julia, slipped him a note. Out of sight of the cameras, he opened it. Winston's crippling isolation evaporated. There was hope and promise in his future, like there had never been before. Over time, Winston and Julia would find moments to slip through the net of surveillance, eventually renting a room above an antique store, living a life pre-Big Brother. That was until the thought police burst into their room and took them away to the Ministry of Love for interrogation. Winston was taken to room 101, a torture chamber. A personal torture chamber. You see, because Big Brother had been watching, everyone's fears were known